The biggest roadblock to pursuing your master's abroad isn't the process itself, but is the financing and funding. Studying for your master's abroad, especially at a top-ranked university, can be very expensive, and I see many deserving students drop their study abroad plans only because they don't have the finances to pay for tuition and living. So in this video, what I've decided to do is to give you scholarships that can make your education abroad completely free. And when I say completely free, I truly mean it. All the scholarships in my list today are going to cover not only 100% of your tuition fee, but part, if not full, of your living expenses and a few additional expenses such as your visa expenses as well as your airfare as well. Now, my list of 10 scholarships will cover different destinations across the world. And at the end, I'll also have a bonus scholarship which you can apply to no matter which country you plan to study abroad in. So do watch the whole video to check out whether your country is on the list and to see which is that one bonus scholarship that can help you apply to any country for free. Hi. My name is Amey. I'm a study abroad counselor who's helped hundreds of students get into the world's top ranked universities. I also make YouTube videos to help students make the right study abroad choices. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. It'll be a win-win for the both of us. Now, the first scholarship on this list is the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. This is a scholarship which is provided by the European Union to study at universities in Europe under the Erasmus Plus program. This isn't actually one scholarship, but a collection of more than 200 scholarships. And so what you're going to need to do to apply is basically go to the Erasmus catalog, find out which program you are eligible for and apply accordingly. The great thing about this scholarship is that it is for joint master's programs to European Union countries, which means that you'll be studying at least 3 universities in 3 different countries. So that's great because you get to experience 3 different academic styles as well as 3 different cultures. Now, application deadlines for this scholarship are between October and January every year. Now, the next scholarship on this list is the DART scholarships. This again is a group of more than 80 scholarships for you to study in Germany. Now, you need to go to the DART website to apply for these scholarships. You need to first find out which scholarship you're eligible for by using the filtering system. You can filter by level, by region, by program type, and in some cases, even by university. One thing to note is that the DART scholarships are mostly going to cover only 400 to 900 euros of your living expense per year, and funding will be covered only for 3 to 12 months, not more than that. So this means that you need to apply to multiple DART scholarships to secure your funding for the entire duration of your program. Also, the fact that Germany has public universities that don't charge a tuition fee means that by applying for multiple DART scholarships and winning them, and by combining that with education or a master's program at a public university, you can study in Germany pretty much for free. Application deadlines for the DART scholarships are individual based on the scholarship, but typically range from October to January every year. The third scholarship on this list is the RTP or the Research Training Program, and this is for Australian universities. Now, obviously, this scholarship will cover again 100% of your tuition fee, but the mind-blowing thing about this scholarship is they give a living stipend of 53,000 Australian dollars per year. And this entire amount is tax-free, which means you don't pay any amount on this $53,000. You get it completely in your bank account. Now, this scholarship does not make you eligible to study at any Australian university, but it does cover 40 of Australia's top universities, including the G8 universities in Australia. The scholarship itself is not managed by the Australian government, but by the Australian universities themselves, which means you need to go to the university page and apply over there for the scholarship. And in one way, this is actually a good thing because it means you can apply multiple times for the RTP at different universities and check where you're getting the scholarship from and decide which university you want to go to accordingly. Now, Australia has 2 main intakes. They have a July intake, and for the July intake, the scholarship deadlines are typically between March and April. And then Australia also has a Feb intake, and the application deadlines for the Feb intake are between September and October every year. Next up, we have the Chevening Scholarship, which will help you to study for free in the UK. Now, the Chevening Scholarship is slightly different from all the scholarships that we've seen so far. Look, all the scholarships that we've seen so far are purely merit-based scholarships, but the Chevening Scholarship is the first scholarship on this list which is merit come need-based, which means that in addition to merit, you also need to prove to the Chevening committee that you cannot fund your education or your masters in the UK unless and until you get this scholarship. This scholarship will cover 100% of your tuition fees, provide expenses for living, and it will also cover your visa. And finally, it will also cover your expenses to the UK and from the UK in terms of airfare. Notice how I said that it covers your airfare both to the UK and from the UK. Well, that's because one of the conditions of the scholarship, if you win it, is that you need to come back to your home country for at least 2 years after completion of your master's or PhD program, but you can again go back to the UK after that duration. The other eligibility criteria for the Chevening scholarship is that you also need to have 2,800 hours of work, so that comes to around 2 years of full-time work before you fly for your master's program in the UK, or 4 years of part-time work if you're working 20 hours per week. The application deadline for the Chevening scholarship are in early October every year. The fifth scholarship on this list is the MEX scholarship, which helps you study at top-ranked Japanese universities for your master's or PhD programs. Again, 100% tuition fee waiver, but in addition to that, you also get 143,000 yen per month to cover your living expenses. Now, unlike the other scholarships on this list, which were administered by the government or on university websites, this scholarship is actually managed by the individual embassies. So if you're an Indian student, then you need to go to the Japanese embassy website for India and find out the application process over there. It's actually pretty straightforward. The only additional thing compared to other scholarships on this list is that you also need to take a language test. And here I'm not talking about TOEFL or IELTS. No, the Japanese embassy will conduct its own language test. If you plan to study an English taught program, then you need to take the English test. If you plan to study a Japanese taught program, then they have a Japanese test. You can also find past question papers for these exams on the Japanese embassy website and apply accordingly. Deadlines are typically in April or May every year. Okay, so now we are halfway through the list. Coming to the second half of the list, we have the Government of Ireland International Student Scholarship. This covers 100% of your tuition fees as well as provides a stipend of 10,000 euros for a one-year master's program in Ireland. Now, the great part is that most Irish universities are covered by this scholarship, but you're going to have to do some research because the courses for which the scholarship is applicable differs from university to university. Deadlines to apply to this scholarship are typically in mid-March, and you apply separately on the Irish government website. So far, I've kind of been ignoring Italy in my past videos that I've done so far on YouTube, and people have been calling me out in the comments, rightly so, for that. So in this video, I've decided to rectify that. This next scholarship is the DSU scholarship, which is to study for free at public universities in Italy. Now, this scholarship is managed decentrally by every public university separately in Italy, and therefore you need to find out the application process on the individual university website. This scholarship will cover up to 100% of your tuition fee. It will provide you a meal plan as well as accommodation. In addition to this, depending on which university you're applying to, you might also get a yearly allowance of 1,000 to 5,000 euros. The application deadlines again vary from university to university, but are typically in mid-September. Coming in at number 8, we have the Danish Government Scholarship for International Students. This scholarship is again managed individually by the Danish universities. Not all of them, but by the 8 top-ranked universities in Denmark. You can check out the link that my team will share in the video description and see which universities are included in this list. This obviously covers 100% of the tuition fee as well as some part of your living expenses in select cases. The best part of this scholarship is you don't have to apply separately for it. Because it's managed by the universities, they automatically consider you for this scholarship when you apply to the university. So if you want to maximize your chances of getting this scholarship, you better apply early. Coming in at number 9, we have the Mastermind Scholarship to study in Belgium. This Belgian government scholarship actually reduces your tuition fee down to zero and provides you a living expense stipend of 10,000 euros per year at 12 universities in Belgium. Now, these 12 universities are either going to be in Flanders or in Brussels, so you don't have coverage across the whole country, but hey, I think Flanders and Brussels are where most international students go to study anyway in Belgium. And you need to apply separately per university for this scholarship. So just like the Australian Research Grant Scholarship that I mentioned previously in the video, you can apply to multiple universities to increase your chances of getting this scholarship. Application deadlines vary from university to university, but are typically between January and April. And finally, we have the Stipendium Hungaricum to study at 30 top universities in Hungary. Now, this scholarship is for 300 master's programs across Hungary. And the great part is that most of these 300 master's programs are English taught, so language is not going to be a problem. However, you do need to apply in 2 places to avail this scholarship, which covers 100% of your tuition fee as well as living expenses and health insurance. You need to apply on the Stipendium Hungaricum website through the Tempest Public Foundation by Jan 15th. And you also need to apply to the University Grants Commission in India, which is the sending partner and which actually nominates Indian students for this scholarship. Okay, so those were the list of the 10 scholarships that I had for you. You might have noticed by now that I have not covered any scholarship for a few popular destinations such as the USA or Canada. And the reason for that is simple. The governments of these countries do not have any centralized scholarship scheme that most students can apply for. Sure, you have a few scholarship programs such as the Fulbright Scholars, but that scholarship program is actually going to help you get only into some niche courses such as public health and journalism, and they are extremely selective, so most students can't apply to it anyway. So one approach you can take if you want to study in these other countries, again USA or Canada, is you can go to every university's website and find out which university provides scholarships as well as up 100% financial aid, which is, by the way, very much possible in the US and Canada. But the problem is that it's a very tedious process to find out which universities actually offer this. So what I'm going to do is offer you one alternative. There is a scholarship called as the Aga Khan Foundation Scholarship that any student flying abroad for their master's education can apply to. Again, the great thing is that it covers 100% of your tuition fee and provides a monthly stipend. However, there is a caveat. The caveat is that this scholarship is actually structured as 50% scholarship and 50% grant, which means that 50% or half of the scholarship amount is something that the student will have to pay within 5 years of completion of the master's program. I understand that this isn't ideal, but hey, it's better than not having anything, right? Application deadlines for the Aga Khan Foundation Scholarship are by end of March every year. So that's a wrap for this video. I hope that armed with these scholarships, you won't give up on your study abroad dream. Let me know in the comments if I covered your country, and if I didn't, let me know in the comments which country you want to study in. I'll find out if I can help you with a scholarship for that country. And as always, if you have any questions about studying abroad or the application process, do let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to respond. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.